Thank you for joining today. If you're watching this video, we're the Cyber Church of Christ. We use King James Version of the Bible. And today's topic is called short. So today's sermon is short, and that ends today's sermon. No, actually, I'm just kidding. The term short or shorten, we're going to look at in some detail here. Exactly what does that mean in the Bible? And you'll find some interesting things. So let's get started. Uh, our days have been shortened here on planet Earth because you can read in Genesis in the Old Testament, and people living to be 900, and further in the Old Testament where they're living to be 400 and 500, kind of like in Job's era. Okay, well then now how long do we live? Well, I've done several funerals in the last 20 years or so, and usually I'll bring up this first verse we're going to look at today, which is Psalms 90 in verse 10. Because where is it? Who said that 70 was a long life? Well, they get that out of the Bible. So it's actually in the Bible. So let's read Psalms 90:10 and discuss for a second. All right, I'm quoting, the days of our years are threescore and 10. And if by reason of strength they be fourscore years, yet is their strength labor and sorrow, for it is soon cut off and we fly away. So that's where you get the fact that 70 is a long life. That's correct. So 70 is a long life. It says, hey, if you live to be 80, you'll have, you had the strength to live to be 80, but you will have more sorrows. Why is that? Well, you work because of where you live. You're living on planet Earth. You're going to witness more sorrows. And one thing you notice as you get older, that there's more people that that die, here on planet Earth. And so therefore, when I'm at a funeral, I'll mention that, especially if they're past the age of 70, you'll mention how the Father's blessed them with more time. Now, here's another thing. What is the actual maximum that a human being can live? If someone claims, like in Okinawa, they live to be 100, that type of deal. Well, what happens is, if you want to look this up, Genesis 6:3. So what, after the flood, the Father says, I'm now going to cut man's years down to 120. So I already know the maximum that someone will live would be 120. And the fact that uh, 70 is a long life. And then if you live to be 80 or more, then you have more sorrows. And of course, your physical body is also aging. And you'll see most, especially when they get to be 100, when you see them on TV, most of them are in wheelchairs. So you see how the body gets weaker. Well, that's where you need strength, labor, and sorrows will happen. So that's one thing that's happened is our life has been shortened in years deliberately by our Father. Okay, well now I'm going to look up why. Why would you cut my years down on the deal? I can stay here and preach long, preach 500-600 years. Okay, let's look at that. Now, did you look at Noah while you were looking in Genesis? And didn't he live like 600 when he was 600 years old when the flood happened, and he actually lived to be 950. Okay, but what about his preaching? Was the ark full of people because they all believed? No. But what makes you think I'm going to have you preach till you're 600 years old that you're going to bring any more in than you would if you lived to be 70? So that's a little humbling thing there if you're a preacher guy. All right. Now let's go ahead and look at some red letter with Jesus talking. And you'll also find this in Matthew 24. But what we're going to look at the Mark chapter 13, 2 verses, 19 and 20. And basically, he's talking about the earth and how the earth will end and what will be like. All right. Now here we're quoting, for in those days shall be affliction, such as was not from the beginning of the creation, which God created unto this time, neither shall be. All right, so I need a little more detail. You're going to get in verse 20. And except that the Lord had shortened these days, no flesh should be saved. Then there's a colon there. But for the elect's sake, whom he had chosen, he has shortened the days. And I'm going, okay, well, no, there's some detail in there. Let's look at this verse 20. What do you mean the Lord has? Jesus is talking. He becomes Lord. Who are you? What do you mean the Lord shortened those days? Well, if you wanted to get technical here, I would have that in all caps, because this Lord meaning our Father. Father is the Father of spirits. It shortened those days. No flesh should be saved. Oh, you just mentioned you wanted to preach to your 600. The Father just said, no, I'll let you live. You may not even be saved then, man. Way too much evil and temptation and all that the world's full of. You're going to have to endure more of that. So no, what I'm going to do, shorten the days. Well, my day here on planet Earth is really nothing but a spiritual test for me to get judged in the end and be accounted worthy and get into heaven. I mean, that's my goal. Right. So what I'm doing is I'm making your test shorter. Oh, well, I know what that's like. Like in school, if I have a test that's only 10 questions on there, I get all 10, I'm going to get 100. If I get 9, I get 90. But if you give me a test for 60 questions, I got a lot more to go through. Right. Now, what about your life? What if I did let you live as long as Noah and Methuselah and them? Well, I just told you, I just quoted it. No flesh should be saved. And who is this, the elect? Well, the elect's part of who the members of the church. So when you study with us, you'll find out the kingdom is the church, and then the members in the kingdom. And then we had a candle type situation. So we have a lot of sermons at all in this topic, all right? But for the elect's sake, so he's saying, hey, Mike, are you the one of the chosen? And I go, well, yeah, I got called, and then I'm considering myself chosen. Okay, well, then I shortened your days. Huh? Yeah, shortened your days. That's the verb part of short. Yeah, shorten the days for your sake. Oh, why? Before the colon says so you could be saved. They got a shorter test. Okay. Well, that's a positive spin on the deal of me not living to be 900. But Earth would be pretty crowded, and also I could see how much war and stuff that would cause if I had this property for 500 years. All right, so hey, this does look like a good thing. No, it don't look like a good thing while you're breathing on planet Earth. You go, wait a minute, I want to live as long as I can. But then I look at this and go, okay, sure, 120 is the max I'm going to live. Is it? Yeah, that's what I told you. I could live to be 80. Yeah, there'd be more sorrows. Yeah, but 70 is a long life. So if you're thinking you only live to be 70 and that's your test, well, that's what the test is. The test is your life on planet Earth. Sometimes we call that the day. How was your day on planet Earth? And how long is that day? I just shortened your days. And I did you a favor. Okay. Well, that's interesting. So this fountain of youth and all, yeah, why would you want that fountain of youth that Ponce de Leon was looking for? What is that going to do for you? Well, it goes against the Bible. The Bible's already said, no, you're in a human body. I'm going to have it age. And if you're worried about how long you're going to live, notice 70 is a long life. Okay. Because why? I read that in Psalms 90:10. It said days of our years, threescore, score is 20. Threescore and 10. That's where they get that. So yeah, 70 is a long life. All right, we're going to continue on, but at least I got some red letter in there. And of course, I'm going to probably hit on Hebrews and Revelation before the day's over. All right, so Romans 9:28. Let's look at that. Romans 9:28. For he will finish the work and cut it short in righteousness, because a short work will the Lord make upon the earth. Well, how you let Jesus live to be the whole 120 max? No. The 70, he had a long life. No, it wasn't even 70. Well, how do you know it was 33 years? It doesn't say 33 there in the Bible. No, it says he started his ministry at 30, and it was about 3 years when he was crucified. So that's where these preacher guys come up with the 33, because you're in there studying and you find out, yeah, He lived to be around 33. So he didn't even make the 70? No, we're not doing 120. The Moses did 120. We're not doing the 70 either. Because why? Romans 9:28. It's short in righteousness, short work. So you're going to come down and improve the Father's plan and do the whole plan and make a short work out of it. That's correct. So if you've lived past age 33, you already lived longer on the planet than when Jesus was a human here on planet Earth. Keep that in mind. Okay. So you already mentioned in Romans there that, yeah, the Lord's work is short. And how much more was he supposed to do? Did a perfect work, proved the plan, sacrificed himself, and called it a joy. Well, it was a joy, me spending that time, that short time on earth. I read where you got tortured and deal, and then you got nailed to a, you're calling that joy? Yeah, joy was because of doing the Father's will. I'm not looking at what the human suffering was. Okay, well, that's what you ought to do. You ought to be joy in the spirit and what the Father does for you, instead of how your body's breaking down, I don't see as good and all that. Okay. So the Lord did a short work on planet Earth. Well, I found that an interesting verse. All right, now let's go to James. While we're talking about these days on planet Earth, let's do James 4:14. This is one of those verses that starts with the whereas, which is what attorneys use in their official documents. Whereas this situation happens. Whereas ye know not what shall be on the morrow. And the sentence ends there. For what is your life? A rhetorical question. It is even a vapor that appeareth for a little time and then vanisheth away. Well, that's humbling. What do you mean I don't know what's on the morrow? I got a calendar and it'll tell me what day I'm on now and what the rest of the year is going to look like. And I can actually tell you when the full moons are and stuff, because I got it on my calendar. Yeah. Well, that's not what I'm talking about. What's going to happen to your spirit and what's going to happen to your life tomorrow? Well, that I don't know. Well, yeah, you read James 4:14. You don't know. Why don't you just do the Father's will and then not worry about what's on the morrow? And when is a good time to get in the kingdom and get baptized? Tomorrow? No. Today, now is the time of salvation. That's what the Father's always talking about, now. Okay, I'm gonna pray tomorrow. What do you mean tomorrow? You don't know what shall be on the morrow. You know, pray now. Now's the time. He's the God of the living, ing, now. Now I'm gonna do it. No, you don't even know what's on the morrow. You already just saw how many years you've been living, and then telling you I'm doing you a favor, and then now don't even worry about tomorrow. Because why? Well, what is your life? Well, it's a vapor. Well, what do you mean? Like vapor just poofs into the air now I don't see it? Yeah. Okay, well, that's kind of humbling. You don't have the word short in there. No, I got a thing called little time. That's why I bolded that out. So appears for a little time and then vanishes away. So in the whole history of the planet Earth, my time here is going to be short. Yeah, we already proved that. The Earth's been here however many years it's been here. And if you were born in the mid 20th century like me, then you can do the math. Are you going to be around in 2050? No, because of the math. Okay. Now, you worried about tomorrow? Actually, the only thing I'm really concerned about as a Christian, that's one of the guys that's chosen, is the judgment day. So that's not even tomorrow, because there's no such thing as time now when I'm getting judged in the end. When I get judged in the end, then what? Yeah, now that's my number one concern. And then what about it? What's second? I don't know what's second. I don't know what's tomorrow. All I know is that I'm going to be judged someday, so I'm going to do today and now. That's what the Father does. Anyway, don't worry about tomorrow. I already shortened your life. And by the way, I did you a big favor. And then we're going to look now on what I'm going to do about the Father. Must fear God while we're here, and then we're going to look at Satan and what about him. Okay, so let's move on to the middle of the sermon here. Let's look at Proverbs chapter 10, verse 27. The fear of the Lord prolongeth days. Well, that's interesting with a colon there. But the years of the wicked shall be shortened. But I know there was guys like in the mafia and some older than us, and I saw where they lived to be 80 something. And okay, well, does that mean it got shortened? How long were they going to live? Oh, you don't know. Okay, yeah. So I wouldn't worry about that. So why don't you just fear God if you want to prolong your day? What if you're doing more of God's will? Well, I'll prolong the days. And what if I want to do wicked my entire life? Well, then your days are shortened. Okay. Well, that's just it's a proverb. I just want to toss that in to get that thinking and going along. So, fear of the Lord prolongeth days. I was interested in that. You told me how short the life was, and so now I'm okay. Well, what do I do? Can I prolong those days? Well, right here, fear of the Lord. That's what you want. Let's move on to Romans. Romans 3:23. We're going to look at now what about your record on your life that you're going to be judged by. Romans 3:23. For all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. Oh, you just mentioned you were going to be judged in the end. You wanted to be accounted worthy and get into heaven and live there where Jesus lives with our Father. That's correct. That is my goal. Okay, well, you sinned. I have. Are you part of the all of the Zale? Yeah. Okay, well, you've sinned and you've come short. So the glory of God would be no sin. So since you've shortened that, what we'll have is we'll put in a process for you to get forgiveness of sin while you're breathing on planet Earth. So through the blood of Christ, you need to study that with us in case you don't know this and you're watching. Through the blood of Christ, you can actually get forgiveness of sin on the fly. And the fact is, when I was looking up this topic and all, you're not forgiven sins of the future. I found out the only sins you get forgiven of are past sins. Think about that. All right, so we've all sinned and come short of the glory of God. That's correct. So let me fast forward this Judgment Day thing you mentioned. You said you'd sinned. Yeah, but what happens is I've got a judge there that's sinless for the sinner. And now when they go look at my record, if I've sinned, I have sin on it, then the judge takes it. Takes what? The sins. That's where the sinless for the sinner thing comes in. Now, when he takes my sin, he goes, hey, this soul here has no sin on it, and I'm allowed to get into heaven. So right now, I've come short of the glory of God, but what I'm going to do is keep doing his will, prolong the days, have a record that can be used at my judgment, and then then I get into the glory, because I found out my crown that I have in heaven is made out of glory. So right now you're short. If you're going to talk about how's your record look, well, it's short, but you're still working on your record, aren't you? Can't you still do the Father's will? Okay, well, then let's keep building the record up. And then on the end, that's what we have that's why we get saved in the end, is because that's part of the Father's plan. He didn't have a plan for nobody to be saved. He got a plan for all men to be saved. So what do I do? Well, you need to do the fear. Well, we already did that. Fear of the Lord prolongeth days. You need to work. You got a short life here, so you should be doing it. And I did you a favor by shortening your test. All right. Now let's go to Hebrews. Hebrews 4, verse 1. Chapter 4, verse 1. Let us therefore fear lest, this L-E-S-T in formal English, it means unless. Let us therefore fear lest a promise being left us of entering into his rest, any of you should seem to come short of it. Okay, so what do you mean entering this rest? Well, you have to go study that topic with us. Because what happens is when your spirit leaves the body, your soul has to wait for Judgment Day. Judgment Day happens after planet Earth. So you wait on Judgment Day, and then we found out as Christians, we go, hey, what happens to my soul? We found out there's a thing called God's rest for those that have done His will. Is that where you want to enter? Yeah. Okay, well, then you need to fear because there's a promise. You can enter into His rest. Okay, now how do I not get into His rest? Well, you fell short. The promise did not kick in. So yeah, once you come study with us, get in the kingdom, and then you're one of these chosen ones, and you'll be in the elect. And then guess what? You can get saved in the end. This is a positive thing. You go, hey, shorten my years. Positive thing. Well, that's a positive thing? Yeah. How long do you want to live? Well, I want to live as long as I can. Okay, well, that's what you should say. Do you know what tomorrow is? I already read that. I don't know what's going to be on tomorrow. Well, now let's look at the end of the sermon. We're going to look at the shortened time that's allocated us here on planet Earth is to reduce our time with Satan. Oh, yeah. Forgot about that. So you're saying you wanted to live and preach and stuff to your 600 because more people come into the kingdom? Yeah, like on the ark? No. What you're asking is, can I stay longer with Satan? Why do you want that? Oh, Satan's stuck on planet Earth. Okay, for as long as the Earth's here. And then now you're saying, what, you want to live forever on planet Earth with Satan? Why do you want that? So that's part of your shortened thing. Hey, I'm doing you a favor. Why? Satan got less time with you. Him and his buddies are there on planet Earth doing evil stuff. And actually, if you're going to be in the kingdom, he'll come after you. But you know that. Well, but you've got angels and the Father and all, and you got the Word of God protecting you, and Satan knows that. But how long do you want to spend with Satan? You do know when your soul, let's say you're going to be accounted worthy, you'd be saved in the end. Your soul just spent that short time. What short time? I don't know, 70 years or less than 120. That's all you had to spend with Satan. And then he says, hey, when you get up here and you're in rest and you get judged, ain't no Satan. Oh, so am I not doing you a favor? I guess you are doing me a favor, yeah. You have a lot less time with Satan on there. Well, I didn't look at that. I was looking at wanting to live forever type deal and try to be young and stay young. I know that's a human thing. But guess what? Are you looking at spiritually? Do you want to stay on planet Earth with Satan past the 120? I don't think so. So that's part of doing the man a favor deal, because we found out when the flood, when those people were living to be 900, that their thoughts were continually evil. There's more time with Satan. So think about that. That's just more time the Satan's here. All right, let's look at Romans 16. It's the last chapter in Romans. Romans 16:20. Okay. And the God of peace shall bruise Satan under your feet shortly. The grace of our Lord Jesus Christ be with you. Amen. Oh, so the God of peace shall bruise Satan under your feet. So Satan knows that. Satan knows the whole Bible. I told you he's here on planet Earth. Knows the Bible, every language. And already he knows the truth. What do you think? Satan fears God and trembles. He knows what's going to happen in the end to him. Because why? He deals with fact. Yeah, we're in faith based. Satan's dealing with fact. So you're going to bruise Satan. Yes. Okay. So I'm not doing it. No, you're not doing it. He's doing it. Oh. You bruise Satan. Now let's look at this last verse we're going to look at today. Revelation 12:12. So even the dyslexic can follow this one. So Revelation 12:12. Let's start with the quote. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them, and in the heavens here, meaning what? The universe, the creation. And we're going to rejoice. Why? Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath. Why? The why is not in there. I'm asking why. Well, after the comma, he does the because. Because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Oh, so he's dealing with time. Yeah, Father says, hey, you've been judged. Here's where I'm going to throw you in the lake of fire. Here's what it looks like. And oh, by the way, right now you're standing on planet Earth as long as the Earth's there. Okay, so you send him down here? Yeah, devils come down. And what's wrong with him? Well, he has great wrath. That's why sometimes when we have Bible study, someone will mention, boy, he stays bitter, doesn't he? And go, yeah, you know, when I did what Satan wanted me to do, he still stayed bitter. I did what the Father wants to do. Father's happy. So we go, well, why aren't you just make? So you did what Satan did, and he done not happy, and you do what Father does, he is happy. Why aren't you doing anything that Satan wants? Well, because I'm actually doing pride of life, lust of the eyes, lust of flesh. One of those things hit me. And then I already know, hey, those are the things Satan's doing for what? My short test here on planet Earth. That's all I got. I got a short test. And then Satan's looking at the Bible and he goes, oh, I'm going to be bruised. I've already read that. And oh, by the way, my time is short. Satan? Yeah. But he's here the whole life of the planet. That's right. And he's calling that short. Really? Yeah, because what's waiting on him is the lake of fire. And he goes, oh, I don't have a short time here on planet Earth. So what are you going to do? Well, I'm going to go into the church and try to interrupt the church. Got to keep everybody else from being saved. Why would you do that? Because I have great wrath. Well, mass, stay bitter the whole time. So what I'm going to do, my time is short, is I'm going to come in, well, your time is short. Since I'm here on planet Earth, I'm going, okay, well, now that I've read this, now that I've studied this topic, you actually did me a favor by shortening my days, yeah. And I noticed Satan's here the whole time, right? Why do you want to stay forever on planet Earth where Satan is? How about up here where Satan is not, and you stay forever up here? That's a good idea. Yeah, that's the plan. So stick with the plan and be happy that it's short. Well, it's sad someone died. I went to their funeral. Of course it is, because you enjoyed having that spirit there on planet Earth. But guess what's more happy? The hereafter, where there's no Satan. So think of it that. Think, yeah, I got a short life, but also got a short test. And Satan's only got a short amount of time for me to fail the test. What I'm going to do is pass the test. And then I don't have to even mess with Satan ever again. Because why? Because where I'm going, he ain't going. Okay. So anyway, I'll take these words today out of the Bible, implement that into your thinking, and make yourself, a better Christian. And keep doing His will. Going, well, I got a short time here, short test. I'm going to do the Father's will. Tomorrow? No, you don't know what's going to be on tomorrow. You need to do it today. And He's the Father of now. He does now. When do you pray? Well, now is when it's a good time to pray. When is a good time to do the Father's will? Now is a good time. When does man like to do things? Tomorrow. Oh, tomorrow's a good day. Yeah, I'll start doing that tomorrow. Yeah, man likes that tomorrow. But I already read that James 4:14 says you don't even know what it shall be on tomorrow. Okay, so you're doing now and today. Anyway, your time here on planet Earth is short, but guess what? That's a good thing. It's a good thing. Anyway, I appreciate you watching this video. Check out more of them. We're the Cyber Church of Christ, and we'd love to have you join us.